Welcome to today's video about side effects of Accutane. A teenager finally achieves the clear skin she's dreamed of, but 6 months later, she's hospitalized for pancreatitis. A young athlete develops joint pain so severe he can't compete. Another patient's vision deteriorates in darkness, making night driving dangerous. This isn't fiction, this is the documented reality of Accutane side effects that research has revealed. Welcome to our channel, your trusted source for evidence-based health information. If you're new here, you're joining a community dedicated to uncovering medical truths backed by real science. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss our research-driven content. We're excited to guide you through today's investigation, and we'd love to know where you're watching from. Drop your country in the comments below. Today, we're examining 15 research-documented side effects of Isotretinoin that extend far beyond dry lips. Each fact we'll share comes directly from peer-reviewed medical studies, not social media rumors. Some effects are universal, others rare but devastating. By the end, you'll understand why this medication requires such careful consideration. All right, we'll go through each side effect of Accutane, starting from number 1. Severe dry lips. Let's start with what seems harmless, but becomes a nightmare for virtually everyone who takes Accutane. Research reveals that 100% of patients experience severe lip dryness, known medically as cheilitis. But here's what doctors don't always tell you. Studies have developed specialized grading scales just to measure how severe this side effect becomes. The mechanism is ruthless in its simplicity. Accutane decreases oil production from skin oil glands, which means all mucous membranes in your body become dry. Your lips, already vulnerable with their thin skin and few oil glands, become the first casualties. Medical professionals consider this side effect so universal that if a patient doesn't experience dry lips, it may indicate they aren't receiving the proper therapeutic dose. Recent research has explored innovative treatments like dexpenthenol mesotherapy, intradermal injections directly into the lips to combat this relentless dryness. The fact that scientists are developing such extreme interventions tells you everything about how severe this simple side effect becomes. Next, number 2, severe dry skin and peeling. While your acne clears, your skin transforms in ways that might leave you longing for your original complexion. Almost all patients experience severely dry skin and peeling, with research confirming this affects virtually every person taking Isotretinoin. The irony is devastating. You take medication for skin problems only to develop entirely different skin problems. The medication dramatically reduces sebum secretion by 90% within just 6 weeks. Imagine your skin's natural protection system shutting down almost completely. Clinical trials document that dermatological side effects related to dryness account for more than half of all adverse events reported. The research reveals something particularly troubling. These skin changes occur in a dose-dependent manner, meaning higher doses create more problems, particularly affecting areas where sebaceous glands are most prevalent: your face, chest, and back. The very areas you're trying to improve become battlegrounds of dryness and irritation. Next, number 3, nosebleeds. Here's where things get concerning. Research documents that nosebleeds, known medically as epistaxis, occur due to mucosal dryness. But this isn't just occasional bleeding. We're talking about a systematic drying of your nasal passages that can lead to frequent, sometimes daily, nosebleeds. The mechanism is as relentless as it is predictable. All mucous membranes in your body become dry when taking Accutane. Your nose, constantly exposed to air and environmental irritants, becomes particularly vulnerable. The delicate tissues that normally stay moist and protected lose their natural lubrication, creating cracks and bleeding. What makes this particularly insidious is that many patients accept this as a minor side effect. They carry tissues constantly, wake up to blood on their pillows, and convince themselves it's a small price to pay. But research suggests this mucosal damage affects your entire respiratory system's first line of defense against pathogens and irritants. Next, number 4, dry eyes and eye irritation. Your eyes, those windows to your soul, become victims of Accutane's systematic drying assault. Research documents that dry eyes, irritation, blepharitis, and conjunctivitis are common side effects, but the reality is far more complex and potentially devastating than these clinical terms suggest. Studies reveal that photophobia, extreme sensitivity to light, can become so severe that patients withdraw from trials. Imagine suddenly being unable to tolerate normal lighting, forcing you to live in dimness while supposedly improving your appearance. The medication's effect on oil production extend to the meibomian glands in your eyelids, which normally keep your eyes lubricated. Contact lens wearers face a particularly cruel twist of fate. The very eyes they've been caring for suddenly reject the lenses they depend on. Many patients find themselves forced to switch to glasses, adding another layer of physical change to their already transforming appearance. Next, number 5, muscle aches and joint pain. Now we enter territory that affects your entire body's ability to function normally. Research has documented that muscle aches and joint pain, known medically as myalgia and arthralgia, affect about 1/3 of isotretinoin patients, but a 2020 study revealed something far more disturbing. Among 94 patients taking isotretinoin, research found that the medication caused side effects in muscles and joints in a large number of patients. We're not talking about occasional discomfort. This is systematic musculoskeletal disruption that can affect your daily activities, exercise routine, and overall quality of life. The research suggests these effects are dose-dependent, meaning the higher your dose, the more likely you are to experience significant muscle and joint pain. Young athletes have found themselves unable to perform at previous levels. Students struggle with prolonged sitting for studies, and workers experience decreased productivity due to constant aching. Next, number 6, back pain and fatigue. Here's where the muscle and joint effects become particularly targeted and problematic. Research specifically identifies back pain and fatigue as documented side effects of isotretinoin treatment. This isn't just occasional soreness, it's a persistent, nagging pain that can affect your posture, sleep, and daily activities. The back pain associated with Accutane is particularly insidious because it often develops gradually. Patients initially dismiss it as stress or poor posture, not realizing their medication is systematically affecting their musculoskeletal system. Studies document that fatigue accompanies this back pain, creating a double burden that significantly impacts quality of life. What makes this especially concerning is that back pain can persist and become chronic. Young people who should be at their physical peak find themselves dealing with pain typically associated with much older individuals. The psychological impact of suddenly feeling physically limited while trying to improve your appearance creates a cruel irony that research is only beginning to understand. Next, number 7, bone and skeletal changes. Prepare yourself for one of Accutane's most shocking secrets. Research has documented musculoskeletal changes including premature epiphyseal closure, hyperostosis, and calcification of tendons and ligaments as rare but persistent effects. These aren't temporary side effects. They're potentially permanent changes to your skeletal system. Premature epiphyseal closure means your growth plates, the areas where bones grow longer, can close early. For young people still growing, this could mean reduced final height. Hyperostosis involves abnormal bone growth, while calcification of tendons and ligaments can affect flexibility and movement for life. The research reveals these effects as rare, but when they occur, they're devastating. Imagine trading acne for permanent skeletal changes that affect your height, bone structure, and movement capabilities. These findings have prompted researchers to question whether the benefits of clear skin justify risks to fundamental bone development in young patients. Next, number 8, depression and mood changes. Now we enter the most controversial territory surrounding Accutane, its effects on mental health. A massive global study published in the Journal of the American Academy of Dermatology involving 151,416 patients found that those treated with isotretinoin experienced lower risk of depression compared to those treated with oral antibiotics. But here's where the story becomes complex and troubling. The same research revealed that patients on isotretinoin had elevated risk of suicidal ideation with a hazard ratio of 1.41. Think about this paradox: lower depression risk, but higher suicidal thoughts. Research shows that isotretinoin affects neurotransmitter systems implicated in depression, including dopamine, serotonin, and noradrenaline. A 2023 meta-analysis published in JAMA Dermatology found that the one-year pooled absolute risk of depression was 3.83% among isotretinoin users. However, a study of 247 patients found that 26 patients, 10.5%, experienced mood changes, with the most common being depressive symptoms, anxiety, aggression, and emotional lability. The cruel twist? Many of these patients were taking the medication specifically to improve their self-esteem and confidence through clearer skin. Next, number 9, severe psychiatric effects. While the depression controversy rages, research has documented even more serious psychiatric effects that occur in rare but devastating cases. Studies published in PMC have documented cases of psychosis, suicidal ideation, and unusual behaviors associated with isotretinoin treatment. These aren't just mood changes, they're complete breaks from reality. A retrospective chart review published in the Journal of Affective Disorders of 300 outpatients with bipolar disorder identified 10 patients taking isotretinoin, with 9 of 10 experiencing worsening mood symptoms, 3 experiencing suicidal ideation, and 8 experiencing symptom reversal after discontinuation. The temporal relationship between medication and psychiatric symptoms creates a pattern too consistent to ignore. Research suggests that patients with bipolar disorder treated with isotretinoin are at particular risk for clinically significant exacerbation of mood symptoms, including suicidal ideation. The medication meant to improve confidence and self-image can trigger psychiatric crises that threaten life itself. Next, number 10, severe headaches. Headaches might seem like a minor concern compared to psychiatric effects, but research reveals they can signal something far more serious. A systematic review published in the Cochrane database confirmed that headaches are documented side effects, and they might be due to intracranial hypertension, high pressure of the fluid surrounding the brain and spinal cord. Intracranial hypertension isn't just a severe headache, it's a medical emergency. The pressure inside your skull increases, potentially causing vision problems, brain damage, and in extreme cases, death. Research shows that headaches are among the side effects severe enough to cause patients to withdraw from clinical trials. The insidious nature of this side effect lies in its initial presentation. Patients often dismiss early headaches as stress or eye strain, not realizing they could be experiencing a potentially life-threatening increase in brain pressure. By the time symptoms become severe enough to seek medical attention, significant damage may have already occurred. Next, number 11, vision problems and night blindness. Here's a side effect that can fundamentally change how you navigate the world. Research documents temporary or long-term decreased night vision, blurry vision, and photophobia as documented side effects. But the implications extend far beyond simple vision problems. Night blindness doesn't just mean difficulty seeing in the dark. It means potential dangers while driving, walking, or navigating stairs in low light. Studies have documented less common but more severe ocular changes, including cataract formation, color blindness, corneal opacity, keratitis, and papilledema. These aren't just vision problems, they're potentially permanent changes to the fundamental structures of your eyes. The research reveals a particularly cruel irony. Young people taking medication to improve their appearance may sacrifice their ability to see clearly. Some patients report these vision changes persist long after stopping the medication, creating permanent disabilities that affect driving, careers, and quality of life for decades. Next, number 12, inflammatory bowel disease. The connection between Accutane and inflammatory bowel disease represents one of the most controversial and potentially serious long-term risks. While some studies suggest that taking isotretinoin may increase the risk of developing IBD, other studies have not found this to be true, and researchers continue to study this possible side effect. Research documents inflammatory bowel disease, including ulcerative colitis and gastrointestinal symptoms like nausea and diarrhea, as documented effects. The mechanism isn't fully understood, but the implications are severe. IBD isn't just occasional digestive upset. It's a chronic, lifelong condition requiring ongoing medical management and potentially surgery. Researchers have to account for many considerations, including the possibility that genes, which increase your risk of having severe acne, also increase your risk of developing IBD. This genetic connection suggests some patients may be particularly vulnerable to developing permanent digestive system damage from isotretinoin treatment. Next, number 13, pancreatitis. Among the most serious and potentially life-threatening side effects is pancreatitis, inflammation of the pancreas. Research documents cases of pancreatitis, including severe, potentially life-threatening episodes. This isn't just abdominal pain, it's a medical emergency that can rapidly progress to organ failure and death. The pancreas produces enzymes essential for digestion and hormones like insulin that regulate blood sugar. When it becomes inflamed, these vital functions shut down. Patients can experience excruciating abdominal pain, vomiting, and rapid deterioration, requiring immediate hospitalization. In severe cases, parts of the pancreas die, leading to diabetes and permanent digestive problems. What makes this particularly frightening is that pancreatitis can occur suddenly, without warning, in patients who previously had no pancreatic problems. The research documents cases where healthy, young people developed life-threatening pancreatitis solely attributable to isotretinoin treatment, forever changing their lives and health. Next, number 14, liver problems. Your liver, the body's primary detoxification organ, becomes a target of Accutane's systematic effects. Research documents elevated liver enzymes, hepatitis, and other liver function abnormalities, with elevated liver enzymes being severe enough to cause patients to withdraw from clinical trials. Elevated liver enzymes signal liver cell damage and dysfunction. While the liver has remarkable regenerative abilities, chronic elevation can lead to permanent scarring, cirrhosis, and liver failure. Studies document hepatitis as a less common but serious side effect. Hepatitis means liver inflammation that can progress to permanent damage requiring liver transplantation in extreme cases. The research reveals that liver monitoring during treatment isn't just precautionary, it's essential. Patients require regular blood tests to catch liver damage before it becomes irreversible. Some individuals discover they have underlying liver sensitivities only after starting isotretinoin, creating permanent health complications from a medication intended to improve their appearance. Next, number 15, sexual dysfunction. Here's perhaps the most devastating long-term side effect that research has begun to document. Scientists have found a link between Accutane and sexual side effects, including decreased libido and erectile dysfunction. But a 2023 case series published in the Journal of Drugs in Dermatology reveals something even more disturbing. Some people had sexual side effects appear or become significantly worse after they had stopped treatment. This suggests permanent damage to sexual function systems. The Journal of Drugs in Dermatology documented sexual dysfunction, including decreased libido and erectile dysfunction as documented effects, though frequency is unknown. For young people in their prime reproductive years, this represents a particularly cruel trade-off. Clear skin in exchange for potentially permanent sexual dysfunction affects relationships, self-esteem, and quality of life in ways that extend far beyond physical appearance. Recent case series have documented patients reporting long-term sexual dysfunction, among other persistent symptoms, after stopping isotretinoin. We've journeyed through the hidden landscape of Accutane's 15 research-documented side effects, from the universal curse of dry lips to the devastating potential for permanent sexual dysfunction. The research reveals a medication that promises transformation but delivers consequences many never anticipate. The choice isn't simple. For some, severe acne creates such psychological trauma that these risks become acceptable. For others, understanding these research findings changes everything about their treatment decisions. The key is making informed choices based on scientific evidence, not marketing promises or social media transformations. Remember, every medication carries risks, but few carry risks as diverse and potentially permanent as isotretinoin. Your skin will heal, but some of these documented side effects may not. If this video was helpful, kindly type yes in the comment. That motivates us to produce more content like this. If you found value in these research-backed revelations, please hit that like button, share this information with others who need to know, and subscribe for more evidence-based health content. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the science behind one of dermatology's most controversial medications.